my goodness, I'm on the Hermitcraft server. There are 8.3 billion people on this planet. And I'm one of only, 25 people allowed in this place? That is actually very strange to think about. It also makes me having places like this inside of my base a little bit more embarrassing. I promise you, I will do this soon. In today's Hermitcraft episode, we're going to be doing exactly not that. I have this new super exciting project that I want to work on instead, adding in all of the buildings for our apartments that surround the gigantic mega city. I was reading through the comments of the previous Hermitcraft episode, and a few of you had really interesting suggestions regarding my Kowloon-esque build. Because sunlight was such a rare commodity in Kowloon City, you would basically have nothing on the outside of the buildings that didn't make use of the sunlight. You wouldn't have things like vents, or for example, this blank area here that is dedicated to just a handful of gutters and wires. These would not exist. They would absolutely be apartment buildings, so that is potentially going to add to the chaoticness of the build, but I guess it's accurate chaoticness? We'll give it a go. I just trampled all of my crops by flying in F5 mode. Time to make a mess. I love this, but I also hate everything that this does to my game. What am I... I'm getting 40 frames a second. Oh my goodness, that was close. I've been working on this for a long time, and there's something that I'm not liking about it. I think part of it is actually that this land is just a little bit too close. Feels like it's almost connected to the land, and it's not sort of hovering. Yeah, okay, I think there's maybe something there. What about the removal of those top fence posts? Yes? I don't think this... Yes. Oh, and then I think one of these and one of these with little satellite dishes. And we might be... No. Maybe. Ooh. Uh-huh. Okay. There is potential. Definitely some potential. If that then connects up to something that's on this... Like, if we can then connect up this power line to one of them over here, I actually think that will look super cool. And I definitely think this build will look 10 times better once everything is terraformed underneath and all of this is sort of mud and dirt. From a distance, not entirely sure how much I like these copper toppers, and I think it could be a little bit shorter. It has made a meaningful difference to the build, but I think it's a positive one. Oh, those little details that I've just added to the top of these two as well. Huge difference. Huge difference. Oh, that looks super cool. Right, now let's do this wall, and contrary to what I said at the start, I think I am going to leave this fairly blank. I'm going to make these protrude, and then have this maybe have some tiny windows in it, but nothing too much else. Look, I know I tried and failed last time to do a tough block palette with one of these apartments, but I feel like I can do it now. Other question mark is, do I keep a rough gradient? I don't know that yet. I'm currently experimenting with having one brighter module. I also think it's really important that the top of this module doesn't line up with this roof or this. So they're going to be mismatched in heights, but I think that's okay. I also, unlike with these ones, mismatched the floor heights. So then I could have things sort of like on the top of this, connected to this one, and then bits dangling over the edge. Ooh, how do I feel about it? Oh, this is all so experimental right now. Okay. Definitely interesting. I think if there was then an orangey one up here, and then a few others mixed in, and a few bits and bobs down there, actually could work. I'm just going to connect up these power lines for reference. Oh, and it does look quite cool. Oh, it looks super cool. Oh, there could be another one going out that way as well. You have no idea how much my brain has been working. You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. Does it look good? I think it looks kind of cool. I think it looks interesting. I think we have just about the right level of chaos going on. I wanted this one to be unfathomably tiny, and I actually think that's gone really well. And then I really like this air gap here, because I think it gives us a lot of potential for, like, overhangs a little bit like this. Some weird rebar action, which I have going down to the bottom. In fact, it almost looks like an escape ladder, you know? It's working. I'm a really bad YouTuber. I'll be honest, I got to a really interesting part of my audiobook and just forgot to record any clips, so now the build is sort of done. I didn't record any progress updates, so I'll quickly reenact them. Oh, does this look cool? I think this looks cool. Oh, I'm not 100% certain about this. Oh, yeah, I really like that sign. And now, here we are. This is what we've got currently. And to be honest, I do really like this sign. I really like this sign as well. I think it looks great. All of the copper has fully oxidized though, which I don't think looks that amazing, so I guess I'm going to have to mix things up down there. But current chuff level is incredibly high. Oh, it even looks cool at night. For once, I actually have lights inside my build, and it looks good. Imagining all of these little modules covering the entire landscape gets me very, very excited, which actually brings me on to my next conversation. The fact that this is going to cover the entire landscape. Oh my goodness, look at this place. This place is really coming together. I still love this greenhouse. Xisuma Void is currently online, and I would like to chat to him. Oh, is this Grian? Is Grian working on a big base? I mean, this landscape is crazy. This landscape is crazy. People are doing crazy landscapes all over the place. I am a big fan of this, Grian. I'm a big fan of this. I like this soggy shore.
There he is.
I was actually literally just admiring your music shop, and you are very much in theme with it.
Oh yeah, I'm totally embracing music this season. That's my whole thing. You're doing some amazing stuff up on the hill, and I watched your episode, and you were a little concerned about coming on my turf, and like, I want you to come over the hill onto my turf. Like, okay. I love how our builds in a season will come close to each other and interact, and so I see it as an opportunity for us to like work together and make them look good together, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you feel that way, because I was trying to think of all sorts of different terraforming tricks that I could use to cover up the build and stuff like that, and I was like, it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah. You can make like a false mountain, right? But like we don't want to cover it up. We want them to meld together, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's sort of possibility, because you're building like a lot of towns. You've got sort of like modular buildings and stuff like that, and then I think my city will probably sit mainly on top of the hill. So then there's definitely like room for transition. It's not like one's going to be on top of the other.
Transition is the word I like.
Yeah.
And in terms of this being fancy, I don't think it's too fancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like it's not like modern opulence. No. It's a bit rustic.
Yeah. 100%.
But it's nice. Should we go have a look at your building style?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I know you've done some of it already.
Yeah. There's tons going on. Basically, is the
crazy
effect.
Detail.
It's based off of Kowloon City, which is was.
I know about that place.
Yeah. On my desk, I have a book called City of Darkness, which has like a bunch of photos of it, and like a bunch of street photos and like the history of it. And it's a super interesting read, and a really, really beautiful book by like amazing photographers that is heavily inspiring the build. So I'm having so much fun.
I love how you use photography and cinema and stuff to like inspire your Minecraft builds. It's super cool.
Minecraft is such a good medium for experimenting and playing around with ideas. It's like the perfect medium for it. So it is really fun trying to translate those ideas across.
Your base also looks like a picture. Like if I just zoom in a little bit, it's like a snapshot, like from all different angles. It's just got that vibe.
That's what I'm trying to go for, like framing things in a nice way. And that's why my viewing spots become so important, because I end up building like from the perspective almost as like a photo. So the viewing spot actually sort of becomes important. There's definitely like elements that we can do that transition these two things, which I think is important. Is like, I think if I start matching up block palettes around towards your end, I think that might be smart. Maybe start dialing back some of the cable chaos a little bit as it goes around might also be wise.
Your builds are going to be kind of like where I am right now, right? Like there's going to be this gap.
Yeah, I think, so like this is the edge. So currently here, this is like the edge of the city. So then there'll be like this little gap here, or it's actually quite a big gap to be fair, kind of rolling it over the edge.
I think you need to come out to the edge.
Okay.
I think you need to be like right out where the terrain comes.
Okay.
Like you want to be out here.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
And then that'll leave just a little bit of space.
Yep.
And I reckon I can even like put in buildings that sort of synergize between the two. Or maybe so cool. Maybe some like structural separation. Like there's, I don't know, roads, things that like prop up the terrain. I can see either of those approaches working.
I mean, this
and I
roof,
think they'll blend the two together really well.
This roof really matches up with the roofs that I currently have. So you almost could, like, this roof could be a quite a good transitional one. And then maybe once I start getting some of the trees in as well, I think them dotting around and like being on top here will be good. And then I think, if we maybe put some slightly dirtier stuff up on this roof, maybe some like vents, and then like maybe a little pylon or something with some cables running into the city.
That's the way.
That could be the way to go. And then that will just like connect them up in quite a small way, but in a meaningful way. At this point, my voice was gradually beginning to fail me, so I decided to sit down in silence and record a time lapse. Now, while I do this time lapse, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about the storyline of my base, because I've made a handful of updates and a handful of tweaks to the story that I think improve it ever so slightly. So, to give you the sort of full concept, the humans created a robot to maximize revenues. They wanted the company Macrotransact to be hugely successful, the biggest company, and unfortunately, they did a bit too good of a job because it effectively took over the entire financial system, bought out the entire inner city, and all of the humans were pushed to the outskirts. Now, over time, many of these humans left, but some of them still cling on in the outskirts, and your job as the player of the game is to go into the city, interact with the humans, do some trading, and gather up all of the resources required to build a virus brain that you can install into the robot. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth does a virus brain sound like? Do you even understand how computer programming works? And the answer is, no, I don't really understand how computer programming works, but I do know that that is quite far-fetched, so I thought I would make it obviously jokey. So, as an example, the sorts of items that you're going to collect in this game that you play in my base is something like a small Trojan horse, a Tamagotchi, some duct tape, 14 paper clips, a Casio calculator watch, USB Type-A cable, and other bits and pieces a bit like that. And you will craft it all together inside of the crafter, and then you will install it into the mainframe, and that is the end game. So the old idea of freeing the old human CEO is sort of gone because I wasn't 100% certain on that. And also, the way that the city was taken over has sort of shifted, and I think this is much better. It is now the next morning, and I'm up to my eyes in cold and flu medicine. I swear, ever since turning 30, I have not had a clear week. The one week where I was feeling good, I almost got struck by lightning, and that never happened in my teens or 20s, so it must be an age thing. The good news is, I've woken up still absolutely loving this build. It looks so cool. It just, I just want to stare at it and find extra details. Like, the longer that you look at it, the better it looks. And my idea of the busyness gradually somehow getting less busy the larger it gets is kind of working. Like, I can imagine when this is full scale and absolutely covered, your brain won't be able to take in enough information, so it will almost treat it like noise. And the contrast between this outer edge here and then the slightly cleaner skyscrapers should end up looking really, really cool. I've set myself a timer of 6 hours. It's time to lock in. Okay, it turns out the little timer that I had in the top left corner of my OBS no longer works with the version of OBS that I'm using. Spent a while looking into how to fix that, and then got distracted by Instagram Reels, so we're off to a very bad start. One thing that I found through the process of building many of these now is that it's always good to fill up your inventory with all of the blocks required to build up the modules, and kind of try your best to do those in a single pass. I don't know if I like this. Immediately, not sure I like that. It kind of works. Maybe this one needs to be one block further over. If this now connects up underneath there, I think I've worked out the problem, and it's pretty obvious. We've got a gradient going on for this module and a gradient going on for this module, but because they're connected up, the gradient doesn't look right. It no longer makes any sense. So I think one thing that I could do is I could introduce a little bit of sandstone, get a little bit of stainage going, because then that is like an almost weirdly sort of neutral middle ground. Yes. Yeah, I think that kind of works. It definitely works for this one, but this has taught me that I don't want to connect two modules of the same color very often in the future. And to be fair, we do have room to move these up. I think I'm going to move them up. Sometimes I miss the days when adding texture meant scrolling my scroll wheel at full speed and just holding down the right click button. Yeah. I think that's better. And now I've placed in all of the modules for this side, including this one, which is like on the other side of this wall, which I think could look quite cool. As long as we add some bits, connecting them, I think it works. Oh, in fact, you know what? It might actually already be one of my favorite ones. Just the concealedness of it makes it feel like there's so much more that we can't even see. It gives the impression that there's actually a back on this thing. I haven't actually looked behind this yet. Yeah, you know what? It's not actually as bad as I thought, but it's pretty bad. You know what? I think I'm going to keep going on the basics. I'm going to see how far I can push building the basics before doing the details. It's like I'm in a good rhythm right now for building macro compositions, so I could probably cover this and also maybe cover this giant block. If we could get this giant block done today, that would be like a huge dent in the progress of the entire build. But that might take longer than 6 hours. In fact, it almost definitely will take longer than 6 hours. I do not know how I feel about this one, to be honest. Oh, yeah, actually, no, that totally works. Like, that totally works. Everything sort of worked out there. Yeah, those ratios look good. I'm becoming a natural. That is going to be tricky. Question, do I build something that sort of wraps around a little bit like this? So it doesn't have that characteristic sort of cut-off edge and instead does that? I think it kind of works. I think depending on how I fill it, it could actually work. As long as I make sure to do it somewhere else, I think we're safe. And then what if the next module does something like this? I mean, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. My formula is breaking down and it's not working. Yeah, that looks super weird. Super weird. What am I doing? Sort of. Maybe yes? Progress is progressing. I am now realizing this is a lot of modules to decorate. It's more modules than I've already got. We are now 3 hours down, but I would say at least 1 hour of that is cabinet inspecting. And after a little bit more building and 3 more trips to the kitchen, it is now done. My build currently resembles the underside of an octopus, which I'm not sure that's a descriptor I've ever used. I don't know if anyone's ever used it. Regardless, I do really like the distribution of color. It feels like things are moving in waves quite nicely. Everything feels like it's in the right place. Like there's like a subtle gradient to it, I would say, but not too strong. This is a very strong starting point. So now it's time to start adding in the details. Immediately, I am stealing this idea. They pop so much. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that will look so cool on top of all of these. Oh, what? I've come up with the idea before. In fact, I beat Pearl to it. I should have taken inspiration from myself. Immediately, this looks cooler already. I've got a pretty sweet inventory setup right here. This is probably everything that I need. So let's start ruining this thing. Number 1 is, I think, sort of done. Number 2, I think is done. It turns out the number 2 was just part of number 1, but now it's all done. This one, I think, is pretty cool. Nice. They look good in combination. And now I've built up this one, this one, this one, and this one as well, which just about finishes off this building and adds it into the mix of the other ones. And I would say it fits in nicely. It looks cool. The last thing to do with it is build up the roof, which I think I'll do in a little bit because I'm in a good rhythm. Now I'm moving on to our next building. I am beginning to run out of resources, but progress is coming along very, very well. We're almost done with this next building, which then just leaves this monster to do. And I have just chucked the first element onto it, but it kind of connects into this and finishes off this building, which looks incredibly cool from our little viewpoint across the way here, and also looks incredibly cool as you approach it. I swear, the closer you get, the more all of the elements begin to stand out. It almost just like begins to, it's like the resolution of your eyes is just gradually expanding. I don't know what I'm talking about either. I'm heavily medicated today. I can feel it. We are almost there. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 still to go. I swear that's the number I've just done. That took hours. I was getting ready for dinner. My hunger is building. I will say I think I'm starting to really work out a strategy for this, which is basically to not think a huge amount. Like, generally speaking, if I think it's a good idea when it pops into my head, it probably is a good idea. Although I'm genuinely not sure on this. Okay, fine. That was a pretty horrific example. But other than that, everything's going well. My throat feels like it's full of sand. But this is looking good. I swear, I'm going to be dreaming of combinations of looms, cauldrons, lightning rods, and chains tonight. But sleepy time aside, the build is now done. And I have to say, despite the fact that I feel pretty rough right now, this was honestly one of the most fun days I've had playing Minecraft in ages. It's been so cool. I got into a proper rhythm. I was just placing blocks all over the shop. This is like maximum world building. I'm just imagining various different ways in which wires would be connected, air vents, and everything else. I have a photography book open on my desk that I'm using as a reference for a Minecraft build. This is everything that I love. The sun is setting. My windmills are spinning. My geese are flapping as well. Okay, those geese aren't flapping. These geese are flapping. Seriously, why aren't those geese flapping? Is it outside of my simulation distance? Look how cool this place looks as it's getting dark. Oh my goodness, it actually looks like a proper city. It actually does look like an incredibly densely populated area. This is seriously cool. This is everything that I love about Minecraft. This is everything that I love about Minecraft. I'm having too much fun. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Things are coming together. This is a fun project. I can't wait to do more of it. But right now, I need some ice cream and to lie down. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya!